Hey YouTubers, it's Charlie. This is going to be my first Avatar Last Airbender video. So many of you requested videos for the original series that I thought it'd be a fun way to cure our Legend of Korra depression. Originally, I was going to start by doing a video of the first episode and just go through all the episodes, but this ended up turning into an origin story for the series in general, like a backstory for how the show was created and a breakdown of the unaired pilot. So we'll start with that, and then the next video will be the episode 1 video. As much fun as it is to talk about Airbender episodes, it's also really fun to talk about how the show got started, how Mike and Brian came together, how Bright got started. And even if you know all the episodes by heart, think of this as a chance to focus on specific things in each episode. So as we go along through each of the episodes, we can try and find things that maybe we missed the first time we watched them, or just things that we really loved, like specific things in each episode. It's kind of like rewatching The Wire remastered on HBO right now, or even like classic Simpsons episodes. I haven't completely decided what the schedule is going to be for each of these videos, probably going to be on Saturdays, but be sure to subscribe to get them all. And just because you guys are so awesome, I'm going to keep doing the weekly Korra. It's going to be an Avatar giveaway now though. All you have to do to enter that is be a subscriber and leave a comment whenever I post new Avatar videos. We don't really need to say spoilers for this video, but if you are watching Avatar for the first time now, if you've never seen the series before, welcome to the fandom. You have no idea what you've gotten yourselves into. So rewind back to the late 90s. Before Avatar ever became a thing inside Team Bright's head, they originally went to school together at the Rhode Island School of Design. Then later, they went their separate ways, worked on a bunch of different animated shows together over the years in different departments, and then eventually got the chance to pitch their own show. One fun fact is that Mike actually got Brian Konietzko a job on King of the Hill. Brian said that he hated working on that show so much that he almost quit Hollywood animation altogether and tried to get a job at Pixar. I think we're all glad that that didn't end up happening, but I think it's funny to know that, King of Hill, such a beloved show, is something that he just absolutely hated working on. It had nothing to do with the show itself, it was just the work that he was doing. Like, he wasn't allowed to be a real animator. I think of all the other famous jobs that they've had before is that Michael actually was an animation director on Family Guy whenever it first got started, during those first run of episodes before it got canceled. For the most part, Mike and Brian are known for working on different things. Brian's known more as an animator, Mike is known more as a writer-director, although they have worked in the same departments before on previous shows. The original pitch for Avatar The Last Airbender was made to an acquaintance at Nickelodeon, and it was like right after the period when Fellowship of the Ring and the first Harry Potter came out.
Generally some market thing they're responding to, and in our case, in 2002, it was Harry Potter and Lord of the Rings. Those were dominating the globe, and they were like, we're looking for legends and lore. Mm-hmm. And then separately, they were looking for action adventure. Mike and I ended up combining that together.
Sure.
As weird as Avatar is for Nickelodeon, it was based on an assignment.
So before they ever had the idea for Last Airbender, they had this other show they were going to pitch. They never did end up pitching it, and they haven't explained what it is, just because they said they still want to pitch it at some point. So there is a solid chance that whatever their next animated show is, it could be that thing that they never pitched. They said it was just something that looked more like it was supposed to be on Nickelodeon. Like, it fit more with the SpongeBob type programming, but it still looked like something that came from Mike and Brian. It was still their creative. I can't even imagine what that would begin to look like. Most of what they talk about whenever they talk about creating the Avatar series, like the initial days, it's that first sketch that Brian did of Appa and Aang. I mean, the concept changed radically before they actually premiered the series, even the unaired pilot. But still, it all comes back to that one drawing there. Isn't it funny to think that Avatar was created on assignment? Like, they were checking boxes. Nickelodeon said, we want these things. And they just said, okay, let's just combine all those. And our love of Eastern anime storytelling. They also spend a lot of time talking about the overseas Korean animators and the differences between their style and American animation, at least during the time of the original Avatar series. They said a lot's changed since then, but they're just so much better at what Mike and Brian want to do over in Korea. Brian's the one that spends most of his time working with the overseas animators. The original overseas animation director on Avatar, Jae Myung-yu, this guy right here, you see him in a lot of their pictures. He was able to create Studio Mir specifically for Legend of Korra whenever it came time to make that series. Nick had ordered like all the episodes from book 1 up front, so Team Bright had the money to hire an animation studio. They wanted you to do the series, but he was working somewhere else, so he quit that job and created Studio Mir so that he could do the episodes. That was several years ago, so since then they've grown as a Korean animation studio and worked on other series. They actually just signed a really big deal with DreamWorks Animation for some new shows that they're working on. They're not Avatar shows. And Mike and Brian, I don't think, are associated with them. Just to be clear though, Studio Mir and Team Bright are two completely separate entities. The work that Studio Mir did on Legend of Korra was work for hire, like it was contract work. It's not like Team Bright has ownership in Studio Mir. The animation studio on Last Airbender was called DR Studio. They mostly work with Japanese companies doing anime productions, but they've also done some big Hollywood stuff like the DC and Marvel animated movies and some other Nickelodeon stuff. Mike and Brian did work with animators at Nickelodeon Studios here in America on Legend of Korra stuff, so it's not just one animation company doing everything by themselves. Jeremy Zuckerman and Benjamin Wynn did all the music for the Last Airbender series, as they did for Legend of Korra, but just like with Studio Mir, it's really interesting to note, because of the work they did on the original Avatar series, they were able to create their own production company called the Track Team. They score other Hollywood stuff too, but it's just cool to know that Avatar was able to give rise to all these new studios. That's actually a really common thing in Hollywood, where someone sells a show to a network, they get a dump truck of money to produce it, so they have to build like a key team around them of key people, and then those key people have to build teams around them. Like it takes an army to produce a television show, even a half-hour show. So the very first episode they ever produced for Avatar: The Last Airbender wasn't episode 1. It was actually an unaired pilot that was about 15 minutes long, and a whole bunch of stuff changed before the actual first episode. Here's a quick breakdown of all the stuff that changed. It's actually pretty interesting. So the 4 images shown in the opening sequences of Aang bending don't follow the order of the Avatar cycle. Instead, it goes from air to water to fire and then earth. Here you can see Zuko creating a group fireball with several of his soldiers. That never ended up happening in the regular TV series. Here you can see him putting himself in danger to consciously enter the Avatar state. It would be like having your friend smash you in the face with a baseball bat to go into the Avatar state. They changed that in the series so that he would only go into the Avatar state as an automatic defense mechanism. He couldn't do it as a conscious thing. This serpent here that attacks Team Avatar was later used in The Serpent's Pass and The Awakening, 2 episodes that happened way later. The armor that the Fire Nation soldiers are wearing here ended up being very different. Later in the series, they did show ancient Fire Nation armor that looks just like the armor in the pilot. Zuko and Aang's scaffolding battle here was actually repurposed in Return to Omashu when Aang fought Azula, which is actually pretty cool. Pretty awesome battle. Zuko's messenger hawk here, chasing Momo, they later put that into the waterbending scroll episode, where the pirate captain's iguana parrot chased Momo. This big Sokka save using his boomerang to save him and Kaya later ended up getting used during the Northern Air Temple, where Sokka saved himself and the Mechanist. Katara was originally named Kaya, but then they later used the Kaya name for her daughter in the Legend of Korra series. You can see Aang airbending here with a lion turtle in the background. This statue here in real life is the actual inspiration for the lion turtles, for the concept of the lion turtles. The initial top design here in the sequence was later used for the Boulder, Sud, and Bolin. So as you can see, a lot of the original designs and concepts from this unaired pilot ended up getting used throughout the Avatar series and in Legend of Korra, so that seems like a long payoff. Like I said, my next video is going to be for Legend of Korra episode 1. It's going to be a little more traditional, like it'll be a breakdown of some fun facts from behind the scenes, as well as just like a regular top 5 video like I normally do for Legend of Korra. I don't know if I'll be doing Q&As or if I'm going to be doing like 2 episodes per week or if it'll be 1 episode. But if you have any specific requests, just let me know in the comments. And yes, for people that are asking, I will do videos for the comics too, like separate videos. The next comic isn't going to be released till September 2015, so it's going to be a long time before that comes out. And they have not confirmed it, but I do think that they will do a Legend of Korra comic at some point. Just because I'm doing Avatar videos right now doesn't mean I won't do other anime series. Some of you guys have been leaving me some awesome recommendations for stuff to check out, so please continue to do so. Just recommend any new anime you think is awesome in the comments. A lot of you also asked me about the Korrasami stuff too. Yes, Korrasami has been confirmed. I was actually surprised. I posted my video, I think like the Friday that episode aired, and then by Monday they had confirmed it. I think that's kind of funny though, like people will still see the video and see it as new, and they're like, how come you're saying this? Because Korrasami is confirmed, but at the time I made it, they had not confirmed it yet, so thank you for all the links. I have seen all the links and all the things that Mike and Brian have said about it. I think it's great. I do think it's a very interesting direction to take the characters. A lot of you have asked about them exploring that relationship in the comics. It's possible they could do that, but again, since this is mostly marketed to children, I think they'll have to be pretty subtle with the way they portray that. Do not worry, for those that want like the really explicit hardcore Korrasami stuff, that's what Tumblr is for. Right now, if you're on your mobile phone or on your tablet, there's new mobile links you could click on up here. It's the same as the links over here, but click here for my Legend of Korra finale video, and click here for like a funny Korra bonus video with the cast. Thank you so much for watching, so I'll see you guys tonight. High fives.